It finally leaked as we have official details surrounding the quarterback's contract, what Matthew Stafford will be getting paid in 2025. We have those numbers coming up shortly. We're also going to talk about, the draft, maybe some of the players that the Rams may have missed out on. We'll talk about that and much more on today's episode of the Rams Digest. I'm your host, Joshua Giron. Remember, if you guys are not subscribed to the channel, do me a favor. Press that subscribe button now, as roughly 72.4% of you guys are watching the videos, but you're still not subscribed to the channel. So do me the favor, press that subscribe button so you don't miss any daily Rams content here at the Rams Digest. First things first, I do want to get into the story here right off the bat. We're talking about the contract details for Matthew Stafford, what he will be getting paid this upcoming season. And it's kind of important, right? We're talking about, first of all, the Rams wanting to have some cap space. That'd be nice. But overall, it's just something that we haven't really heard. Yes, we heard the Rams and Stafford had come to some kind of agreement, but ultimately we hadn't seen the details since that conversation happened pre-draft, right? And so now we officially have the numbers that it's looking like for Matthew Stafford. Rams, Matthew Stafford finalized contract terms, quarterback to earn $44 million for the 2025 season. This comes to us from NFL.com. Shout out to Kevin Patra for this information here. And, in general, obviously, we knew Matthew Stafford was going to get paid over $40 million. We knew he couldn't get paid over the, it was like $58 million cap hit or something around that range of cap hit he possibly was going to have if the Rams didn't come to some kind of conclusion with his contract this offseason. And so ultimately we knew he couldn't be on the cap space for that amount of money. But ultimately, $44 million is a pretty good number for Stafford, right? Arguably still a top 10 quarterback. Of course, 20 touchdowns isn't really blowing anybody away, but the just four interceptions, is very key there. Taking care of the football. Obviously, we were really happy with how he played, especially in the winter months in the NFL season. So obviously, Stafford still got some game in him. I think $44 million, well worth it when you're talking about a team that is trying to win a Super Bowl. He can still do that for you. At least the Rams hope he can still do that for the team. And overall, I think $44 million it sounds like a lot of money, but obviously nowadays we're talking about the likes of Brock Purdy signing for $55 million, right? And so ultimately, I think you'll take a top 10 quarterback in Matthew Stafford if he can still do that on the field next season. I would take that for $44 million any day. I'm glad the Rams and Stafford were able to come to this agreement. I believe also, if we pull up some more details here, Stafford, does get a lot of it guaranteed as well, if not all of it guaranteed, I believe. So Matthew Stafford's new contract for 2025 was negotiated during the NFL scouting combine, but not completed until now. Stafford and the Rams finalized terms on a pact that pays the Super Bowl winning quarterback $44 million this year. NFL Network insider Ian Rappaport reported on Monday, per sources informed of the deal. Rappaport added that Stafford has already been paid $4 million this season, and the other $40 million is fully guaranteed. In addition, if the quarterback is on the Rams roster at the start of the free agency in 2026, he'll lock in another $40 million. But overall, still good numbers for the Rams. Again, sounds like a lot of money especially when you're committing to a quarterback that is the age that Matthew Stafford is. But overall, I think the Rams understand the quarterback market. You got to pay the quarterback what he wants and what he deserves. Everyone else just keeps getting paid more and more and more every single year. And so you having your quarterback getting paid $40 million is still going to run you, I think, a $10 million discount, maybe even $15 million discount come next season. So if he does want to play for 2 more seasons, even if he's playing for $40 million, even if he is older, slower, not playing as well, it is still well worth it, as long as he can obviously still help you compete for a playoff spot at the bare minimum. Obviously, Super Bowl would be nice as well. So I think that's a good number for Stafford, good number for the Rams overall. How do you guys feel about Stafford's details? Are you excited to have the quarterback under contract? Are you looking for the future already? Or are you just happy that Stafford is back in a Rams uniform next season? You guys let me know how you guys feel about Stafford and the contract, all in the comments down below. Moving on from that, kind of an interesting story here. Don't want to dive too deep into it. We're just going to give a couple of interesting names here that I wanted to bring up, because maybe the Rams have some draft regrets, or will have some draft regrets come this regular season. Something kind of more like fun, lighthearted. Don't want to take it too serious, but just kind of want to throw some names out there of rookies you guys can watch this next upcoming season to see players maybe the Rams may have missed out on. This article comes to us here saying the 2025 NFL draft players the Los Angeles Rams didn't want, and might regret. Again, not really that big of a problem for the Rams, obviously, especially if you're talking about guys like Terrence Ferguson, who we'll talk about in a second, the tight end they drafted in the second round. If a player like him can obviously produce or maybe build upon, potentially being that future tight end for you, obviously it's a win for the Rams, but it's still kind of nice and fun. Not nice, but fun for sure, I think, in my opinion. I love looking at the draft, looking at who these players become. I want to see if some of these players end up panning out in the way that I hoped, especially when we're talking about some of the names that I was hoping the Rams could draft right this season. So obviously we're talking about tight end Terrence Ferguson. This is who they chose out of Oregon. Good tight end. We're expecting him to come out, be a solid tight end for the Rams. Obviously learn behind Tyler Higbee and whatnot. And so that's kind of the goal there for Terrence Ferguson. Don't want to go too crazy on what is he going to be for you. Ultimately, you just need him to be a little bit of a nice project to see what he can become behind. Why am I blanking on his name right now? Tyler Higbee. I just said his name. And so overall, I think it'd be nice to see what he can do next year. But if Tyler Higbee's healthy, you have Tyler Higbee as your starter. But some interesting names the Rams could have drafted. Again, we talk about this in the draft process during the live stream. Elijah Arroyo out of Miami would have been an intriguing name to see where the Rams can do with him. Also, Harold Fanning Jr., one of my draft favorites that I thought, obviously just production-wise, looked like he could be an incredible tight end at the next level if he can translate it. And so those two players are two names to definitely keep an eye on. Again, we're talking about Elijah Arroyo and Harold Fanning Jr. Those are two names I think the Rams could have drafted. We'll wait and see if they end up being better tight end prospects than Terrence Ferguson, who, by the way, on the phone call when he was drafted, told everybody in the room, you just drafted the best tight end in the draft. So we'll see if he can live up to that, his own hype that he's building, but ultimately just kind of want to see what he's going to do and compare and compete versus some of the other guys I was intrigued by. Here is another interesting name here. We're talking about the running back position, right? The Rams ended up drafting Jarquez Hunter out of Auburn. Obviously looks like a solid pick. The Rams don't really need a running back right now, but obviously Jarquez Hunter could be a very nice piece for them moving forward in the future of the running back room. We have to think about life after Kyren Williams to an extent, and so this could be a player who could ultimately be a nice piece for the Rams in the future. But one really big name I do want to bring up that the Rams could have drafted that I'm a little surprised didn't go as high as I thought he might, Ollie Gordon II. I think a very intriguing prospect. I thought showed very nice flashes in college. Someone I think the Rams probably could have taken over Jarquez Hunter, but overall, we'll have to wait and see on whose career pans out better. Just kind of another name to keep an eye on. Ollie Gordon II. Want to kind of take a close look and see what he's going to end up becoming in the future. Last but not least, linebacker / edge, I guess. They chose Josiah Stewart to be that kind of the edge rusher for you, a little bit of edge depth. And then Chris Paul Jr. as well to be that kind of, hopefully, future starter at the linebacker position. I know a couple people in the comments last time I was kind of iffy on what the Rams did at the linebacker position, or maybe what they didn't do, right? Drafting a 5th-round pick. I already made a video saying, hey, this could potentially be another steal for the Rams. I agree. I'm rooting for Chris Paul Jr., but ultimately, trusting a 5th-round rookie to be your basically second-best linebacker is what the Rams would hope he can be is obviously very risky, to say the least. And so overall, the Rams, hey, if you're not going to take Chris Paul Jr., or they end up taking Chris Paul Jr., fine. But one name I really was interested in that I wanted the Rams to take was Danny Stutzman. I thought he looked like a fine linebacker. I thought maybe kind of intriguing route the Rams could have gone to take at the linebacker position. Danny Stutzman is a name I'm looking at during their rookie years to see who becomes the better linebacker early in their careers. Now, of course, again, I do want to be patient with Chris Paul Jr., especially edge rusher Josiah Stewart. He's going to have a depth role, so I'm not really too concerned. Obviously, the edge rushers are looking great right now for the Rams, but Chris Paul Jr., obviously, I want to be patient with him, but the Rams don't really have time to be patient with him, right? That's kind of one of the kind of double-edged sword they're kind of dealing with here, right? I don't know if that's the right analogy to use, but overall, the Rams need Chris Paul Jr. to succeed at the linebacker position because otherwise you're hoping that Omar Spates, Nate Landman, and Troy Reeder are holding down that linebacker room. So if Chris Paul Jr. can obviously make an immediate impact, that'd be great, but I do want to be patient with him a little bit. 5th-round rookie. There is a reason he went in the 5th round, so we'll see what he can do in his rookie season. Overall, just a couple of names to look at, nothing really crazy, just some draft regrets. I think the Rams may regret passing up on some of these players in the future. We'll have to wait and see if I'm right on Any names you guys liked in the draft that you guys are disappointed the Rams didn't take, aside from some of the big names? I mean, give me any name that you guys think the Rams could have taken that they passed up on that you think would have been a better option for the Rams this past draft season. Moving on from that, last but not least, trivia of the day. My favorite part of the episode, where I ask a trivia question. You guys give your trivia guesses down below. This is a layup, easy one for the folks here watching at the Rams Digest. Should be easy. We'll have to wait and see on what your guys' guesses are. But before we get into today's trivia of the day, I want to talk about last episode's trivia of the day. The question we posed last time was this: as Super Bowl teammates, Pro Football Hall of Famers Lance Allworth and Mike Ditka each had touchdown receptions for what team? This was, again, last episode trivia of the day. Now, it was a little bit of a trick question because I only know Mike Ditka with the Bears. May not have been the answer for this trivia question. We'll talk about that in a second. The multiple choice options for this question were: was it the Chiefs, was it the Bears, Packers, or Cowboys that these two Pro Football Hall of Famers, Lance Allworth and Mike Ditka, were Super Bowl teammates for? Here were some of the trivia guesses we had on the last episode. Shout out to all of you guys for playing along. Always appreciate anyone who plays along, whether you get it right or whether you get it wrong. The Real J Will says, I only knew Ditka as a Bear, so the Bears was his guess. Alex says, Alex Lemaster says, Cowboys, in parentheses, Cowgirls, LOL. Got to poke fun at the Cowboys. Any chance you get, I guess. Raymond, I don't know why I said Raymond. Raymond says Bears. Floyd says Cowboys. Brian B says Bears. And Thomas says Cowboys. So really, Cowboys, Bears, Cowboys, Bears. Who were the correct guesses here? First of all, again, want to shout everybody out here again on this sheet. Appreciate all of you guys for playing along. If you guys want to play along with today's episode of Trivia of the Day, play along in just a second. But first, the correct answer for yesterday's, our last episode's Trivia of the Day, was the Dallas Cowboys. Yes, that is the correct answer, as Lance Allworth and Mike Ditka were teammates in a Super Bowl and actually caught, I think they caught a Super Bowl touchdown in the same game as teammates for the Dallas Cowboys. If you guys got it wrong, it's okay. If you got it right, congratulations. Again, if you want to get a shout out just like this on the next episode, play along with today's Trivia of the Day, which should be a layup for you Rams fans out here, right? Who has the most career passing touchdowns in Rams history? I almost don't even want to give a multiple choice guess here because I feel like it should be easy for most Rams fans. If you want, go ahead and think about it now. Comment now if you're already confident and you're saying, you know what, I don't need the multiple choice, Josh. I'm going to go ahead and guess now. Go ahead and comment that. Here are your multiple choice options. Is it A, Jim Everett? Is it B, Norm Van Brocklin? Is it C, Roman Gabriel? Or is it D, Mark Bulger? Let me know your guesses down below in the comments. Again, is it A, Jim Everett? Is it B, Norm Van Brocklin? Is it C, Roman Gabriel? Or is it D, Mark Bulger? Give your guess for who has the most career passing touchdowns in Rams history. Again, career passing touchdowns. Definitely an important key there. Other than that, that's going to do it for me on today's episode of the Rams Digest. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys play along with the trivia of the day. If you guys are not subscribed already, do me a favor. Press that subscribe button now so you don't miss any daily Rams content. That's going to do it for me on today's episode. I'm your host, Joshua Giron, and I'm out.